Hi, this is Ravit Rose, founder of Viru. Super pleased to be here with Amy Colton, who is a CDFA, family law mediator, and also has the CDS designation. Today is a very important topic, and it's definitely going to introduce you to something very different that I want you to consider, and so does Amy. We are going to be talking about if you are at the beginning process of your divorce, whether you're contemplating divorce, whether you talked about it with your spouse, whether you're about to talk about it with your spouse, and you're trying to figure out what are my next steps. There is a huge difference between starting off and mandating a lawyer right away and going ahead and working with a financial planner. And I want you to keep your eyes open to this because of the fact that this is so different, and the average person will run to mandate a sharp, badass lawyer thinking that if I go to the best lawyer in town, I'm going to win and I'm going to get what I want. And winning and losing are really the wrong words here. If you want to really succeed at your divorce, this is something I want you to pay attention to. So Amy, thank you for being here with us. Looking forward to all this great information.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I've been doing divorce work for about 7 years. And one of the things that I work with clients on is trying to avoid some of the pitfalls I've seen other people encounter. And, most people, when they're going through divorce, are going through divorce for the first time. They don't know what questions to ask, and they don't know what the journey ahead is going to look like. So I try to prepare people for this prior to engaging a lawyer. And even if you've already engaged a lawyer, it's still worthwhile to engage a financial professional, because really one of the things that most people fight about is money. And it's really important to understand the financial and tax ramifications of your divorce. And an attorney is not really trained in the financial and tax aspects of your divorce. Unfortunately, most people use them as a financial professional, but most people, I think 77% will do that, but 76% or 76% will use them, but 77% wish they hadn't. So I'm trying to get you on the right path from the beginning. And one of the things that I've found is that if you hire a lawyer, your spouse is going to hire a lawyer. And that puts the conversations in the lawyer's hands. It's out of your hands right now. So what that does, it creates a much longer timeline from start to finish. Typically, it takes 12 to 18 months if you're using an attorney, whereas when I work with clients as a financial professional, I put together a divorce financial plan, which takes 3 to 6 months. So it's a much shorter time frame to get the job done. The other thing is if you hire the attorney, it's a much more expensive path. So my objective is to help you create, or you and your soon-to-be ex-spouse create, a divorce financial plan before you go to an attorney. I found that 80% of the people that I work with do not need an attorney day one. Occasionally, that's not the case. There are always certain circumstances where that is the case, but I try to do as much work as I can before you get to the attorney. And that saves you both time and money.
And the other thing that it does, which is very important, is that it creates an environment of an amicable discussion. When you go to your lawyers, it's like butting heads. It's like, fighting out in the boxing ring. And that is sort of the environment of, going to a litigious lawyer. If you're going to a collaborative lawyer or mediator, that could be different. But in general, people often fear this whole financial aspect of the divorce. They run to a shark badass, the best reputation, thinking they need that. You don't necessarily need it. Not only is it going to be extremely expensive because the lawyers are going back and forth and sharing information, emails, phone calls, back and forth to you, to them. It's like this constant conversation, but you guys are going to have a complete disconnect from that point. So you're going already from a relationship of husband and wife to that of mother and father. And right now you still have to communicate because you have children. But when you're starting off on a very animosities, vengeance based, angry, frustrated, let's like screw over the other person's side sort of attitude, you will end up having a much more difficult divorce. And you're not going to be able to have those amicable discussions after you sign your divorce decree. So if you start off your process on a, open conversation, let's be transparent, let's, speak to a financial planner who can help us, a financial professional could look at all the different aspects of the divorce and all the different aspects of the financials, you will both be happier post-divorce. You will both have an easier time literally taking your life, rebuilding it, and moving on to the next part of your life.
That's true. The other thing that the amicable thing is really important. And I have two paths. One where I work with a couple and do mediation. I'm a family law mediator, and I try to incorporate that in if I'm working with couples. The other path is to just create a financial plan with one party. And still can get a lot done in that time in terms of understanding what each party wants. There's been even situations where I work with one party, but I communicate with the other party. As a financial advisor, I give advice, and I can give advice to both parties. I do not have a one client privilege relationship. And a lot of people get confused with that. Is I'm here to give financial and tax advice and help you negotiate what's fair. But I don't have to work with one party. I work with both parties in the process.
That is really beneficial, because in anything else that you do, you normally each have your own respective professionals, and you have the professionals, converse with one another. Now, the one beauty here is that when we're seeing this a lot, there is a trend, with the economy and everything that's happening. We're talking to, owners of companies, C-suites who are raising rounds, who are having a hard time with investors, who want to keep things under the radar because they don't necessarily want people, or especially the investors, to find out yet. And they're trying to keep things low key, keep it out of court, try to settle out of court. This is how you can start doing that. If you're able to start off your conversation with someone like Amy, who can really look at all your financial situation and say, look, I'm neutral here. Whatever you guys decide to do is really up to you, but at least everything is transparent, everything is out on the table, everyone feels like it's fair, and no one will then wake up one day and say, and regret decisions and say, oh, I wish I knew, I wish someone told me, I wish I did it differently. Those regrets will reopen Pandora's box. But when you start in this process like this, you can avoid that. So I really do encourage you, if you are, in this process and you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Amy. All her coordinates are down below. You could read about her, you could watch her videos, you could read her articles, all the information she's provided. She's very knowledgeable, and I'm sure that you're going to have a wonderful conversation when you reach out to her. So I thank you, Amy, for being here, and I wish you all a day that matters until the next time we speak. Take care.
Thank you.